Hey, this is Josh Brolin here to warn you that the following episode of the Diabolical Podcast features spoilers for the movie Oldboy from 2003. Well, I'm not even in that one, I'm in the remake. Is that a spoiler?
This is Diabolical, the comedy podcast where four long-suffering friends dissect films' most dastardly schemes, then compete to improve them. I'm your host, the best, and this week's movie is Park Chan-wook's seminal South Korean revenge flick, Oldboy. So, Peril Pals, settle in with a nice tray of sushi, because it's Sunday, you know what that means. Let's get diabolical! Hello, and welcome to this week's pod, wherein these three drunken salarymen and I comprise the panel of peril, who will compete to see who can improve the villainous plan of the week the best, to earn points for our leaderboard in the show's competitive round. But first, if you could tell our lovely peril pals your names and the name of the ackiest thing you have ever had the misfortune of eating, please.
Ackiest?
Yes, and we'll begin with Adam.
Hello, 'tis I. Well, the first thing that sprung to mind was probably a Rustler's burger, but I discounted that as probably...
the chicken burgers should be amazing.
They are disgusting. I don't care what planet you come from, that's got to hurt. But yeah, then I this is the thing I regularly get ribbed for in my family, which was I used to eat snails off the rockery when I was 2 years old. So.
I remember that.
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
Similar to the best story about him getting drunk on holiday after trying all those cocktails. Every so often, somebody drags it up. And you just have to sit there and nod along.
Yeah. They're right to bring it up too. It's quite a story.
Yeah, absolutely. At least I wasn't an adult.
Yeah, that's true.
Not that I'm slacking you off, by the way. I'm just saying, you know.
No offense taken. Let's move on to Ben.
Hi, Ben here. And the worst thing I've ever eaten is pretty close to what was eaten in this film. And it was raw squid guts mixed with sea urchin.
Mm.
On their own, they're both kind of okay, but mixed together, it's a very, very potent flavour. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Just the use of the word guts puts me off more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds probably better in Japanese. There's a few things like there's a pig innards soup, and it sounds awful if you translate into English, but in Japanese it's okay. And if you eat it without knowing, it's totally fine. It's nice. But you've got kind of the very sharp, salty taste of the raw squid guts, and then you've got this really smooth, kind of mild flavour of the sea urchin, and it just doesn't go well together.
Mm-hmm. Well, I doubt very much that I'll get around to that. So, yeah, I'll bear it in mind, but I can't imagine it'll ever come up. Again, Craig.
Hey, Peril Pals, it's Craig here, and I don't want to put anyone off their tea if you're eating, but the ickiest thing that I've ever eaten, I'm afraid to say, is cardamom. Ugh, cardamom. Can't stand it. Nothing spoil your curry faster than a cardamom.
What the hell's a cardamom?
It's like a little pod of
like a little seed
soap flavour that they put in rice sometimes in Indian dishes. Absolutely disgusting. That or any beans that aren't Heinz.
When you find a cardamom in your curry, just go with it and just chew it and just go, yeah, I've tasted it, I accept it's there, and I'm eating it, and just chew it, embrace it.
No, it ruins the whole thing for me. It doesn't ruin just the curry, it ruins my whole night.
That's it, I'm going
What you mean, snails? Cleaning your mouth out with soap is nothing.
Yeah.
I did actually once have my mouth cleaned out with soap.
Oh, yeah.
All I was doing was having April O'Neil have sex with Raphael and going, ooh, sex. And my little brother was going, Mum, you say sex. And my mum knocks my mouth out.
Just for saying sex.
Oh. Ooh, sex.
Sex.
As for me, the ickiest thing I've had, when I went on safari in Kenya, they give you all like the game meats, and it's really weird stuff like crocodile, which is like horrible little gristly bits of meat, greasy, gristly little nubbins of meat, and What else is there? Bison, and I imagine had there have been any rhino nearby, they would have given us rhino, but there wasn't.
But that'd have had that lovely endangered tang. That's delicious.
Yeah, that's true. The sweetest of meats are the most endangered ones. Yeah, not quite bush tucker trial level, but the kind of stuff that I certainly wouldn't eat now in my dotage, but in my younger days, I gobbled down even that alligator crocodile. Not alligator, crocodile.
I've had fried crocodile, and it's bloody lovely.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a white meat. It was really good.
Must have been how they cooked this. It was like yellow, the one that I had.
Okay.
You like cheap chicken from a Chinese takeaway. That kind of yellow little bits, but very, very greasy. Very greasy.
Just on the turn, perhaps.
Yeah. Oldboy was released in 2003 and tells the tale of Dae-su, a drunken fool inexplicably kidnapped and imprisoned in a single room for 15 years until he both goes mad and gets heck of a good at fighting. Fed on a diet of the same dumplings every single day, occasionally gassed with Valium in order to smarten up his appearance, and sometimes hypnotised for reasons to be revealed much later on, Dae-su is properly put through the ringer. Released just as inexplicably as he was imprisoned, Dae-su embarks on a quest to discover exactly who imprisoned him. But is he asking the right questions? Aided in his quest by semi-famous sushi chef Mido, Dae-su slowly uncovers the mystery that leads him all the way back to his days in school as he encounters another evergreen old boy with a major bone to pick with him. Featuring superb turns from Choi Min-sik as Dae-su and Kang Hye-jeong as Mido, Oldboy won director Park Chan-wook the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival and helped kickstart worldwide acclaim for Korean cinema in general. The film is the second instalment of a thematic vengeance trilogy, the other two parts being the similarly tortured Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and the darkly uplifting Lady Vengeance, both well worth the time investment if you enjoyed Oldboy. Featuring an intricate plot, incredibly stylish directorial flourishes, wincing-juicing violence, and an audacious, jaw-droppingly taboo twist, Oldboy has stood the test of time as a nailed-on 5-star classic and director Park as one of the finest living filmmakers today. Anyways, what did the panel think of this week's film? And we'll begin with Ben.
Well, I thought this was a very interesting one. As you say, strong performances actually across the board, some very inventive cinematography, and the central mystery, I think, is unravelled with real skill. And this is unusual for me, but I think very importantly, the violence in this actually serves the story. It's not, as perhaps we saw in The Night Comes for Us, it's not central to it, but it's kind of woven into the story. I think the twist is a real gut punch, and I like that the ending leaves a bit of room for interpretation. I quite like those films. If it, sometimes they work well, and you leave you to just think on your own for a little bit afterwards. That said, it's not my favourite film we've covered, but that's a personal taste thing. But it is a solid film, I think. So overall, I give it. If you love gruesome revenge dramas and you like your sushi wriggly, then this movie is for you. And that's out of 5.
5.
Okay, 5.
Oh. Okay, let's hear from Craig.
Yeah, I love Oldboy. It's a stone cold classic, and as you alluded to, it really kicked off kind of, I think, both of our love for Korean cinema. We watched the Vengeance trilogy pretty hot on the heels of this, and kept it up with what was the big monster in the reservoir thing?
The Host.
The Host, yeah. That was ace as well. But yeah, this one is a real standout, and it obviously was the one that kind of kicked that all off for us. I think it really kind of ironically hits the ground running, because obviously he doesn't hit the ground, the guy he's holding up by the tie, not in the opening at least. But yeah, I think that's a great fake out as well, because obviously when you know the language of cinema, you kind of expect it to be the guy he's confronting at the start. That's the bad guy. He'll meet him again at the end. And yeah, obviously when it comes to that scene, it's just some nobody guy that he's just met wants to tell his story to. The iconic scene of eating the live squid still really gets to me. And the fighting, I think, I hate to reuse the word iconic too often, but the whole fight what other word is there for it? It's exemplary. You see so many copycats these days trying to emulate that. I think the latest will be, at the time of recording, Monkey Man, which is due out soon. Looks like another spiritual successor to that. The twist of it now is different in context, because obviously many of us are now fathers to daughters, which we weren't when it came out. But nonetheless, even without that context, it is a shocking turn of events.
Oh yeah.
But it's delivered with such skill that you appreciate the dark humour of it as well, and it's just a bit of a sadistic film, but I absolutely love it still.
Good. Glad to hear it. So let's hear what Adam thinks of Oldboy.
Quite simply, it has that unenviable quality that a dozen or so films that I can, if I scratch my brain, I can think of. I can think of a few off the top of my head, but it's that unenviable quality of making me never want to watch it again. and that's both good and bad, so I shall explain. So, like this film, Audition, Requiem for a Dream, Hostel, and Jurassic World Dominion. There's probably others that I could name for different reasons. The entire film, to me, is just more or less from the start clouded by this horrible, dark foreboding, and you just have to sit in it the whole way through. But I think that's precisely what the power of this film is anyway, that it has that way to evoke those emotions from you, and hence why it is held in such high regard, because it goes where other films haven't been, and it doesn't need to be OTT about it, really. It's done quite well and very slowly, and then at the end it's just like bang. Yeah, I thought the performance was suitably disturbed. It certainly wins my applause in that respect, and I appreciate this film stands alone in a field of one pretty much, and that's its power. It's a great, terrible film.
Yeah. So you're comparing it to Jurassic World.
No, I said it's in that group of films. So I listed some great films in there.
No,
and then
I know.
I listed Jurassic World
yeah.
Dominion.
Jurassic World you never want to watch again because it was terrible.
Yeah.
But Requiem for a Dream you never want to watch again because
it's brutal.
It was brilliant, but it's brutal. Yeah, it's harrowing.
Yes. And similar with Audition as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Did that discomfort that you felt watching all the way through improve or detract from the sex scene?
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah, I was just like, I don't. Do you know? It's just because I felt so sure that something bad was going to happen, and it wasn't because of my memories or me going, "Oh, I remember something's bad's going to happen in this film." It was just that feeling I had, the way that the way it started off. It laid it out.
Well, it's the tone of the film, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So, any of the joy or the happiness that was felt in it just felt wrong, because it was overshadowed by, like, say, it's like somebody walking along like a nice sunny lane. They're going to stand on a landmine or something like that. It's just no. It was a landmine.
That's describing sex with your partner.
Well, if you're dreading it, then yes. I guess some people might call it that. Not me, mind.
You're, Al Bundy.
No pig.
Okay, just to preface my thoughts, since I think all three of you have referred to the twist of the film, we'll just clarify what the twist is for anybody who hasn't watched the film prior to listening. The twist of this film is that after the lead character Dae-su has been imprisoned for 15 years, at the very conclusion of the film, when he's about to kill the bad guy, Lee Woo-jin, it's revealed that Woo-jin has maneuvered Dae-su into having a sexual affair with his own daughter and taped the entire thing. It's achieved through hypnosis and other means, but it's genuinely a jaw-dropping, closing your eyes and looking up reveal, like, Jesus Christ. It never fails to surprise me how much it shocks.
Feels disproportionate, doesn't it, as a means of revenge for what he did?
I think my face was like this.
Can we just describe Adam's face there for the listener?
How best to describe it?
It's like he's chewing on something that he thought was going to be sweet, but it turns out to be bitter. And his face is
It's,
screwed up.
I tell you what, it's like those sour sweets that you suck on for a while, and on the outside, it's quite sweet, and then all of a sudden they release their gooey sour center, and you're like,
That's
oh
what
god!
it is. That's what it is. So there you go, listener. You have a mental image of that now.
So more broadly speaking about my thoughts for the film, like, going on from what I just said, it's my favourite trilogy of films ever made. They're a thematic trilogy. There's no characters that carry over between the three.
Sort of Cornetto trilogy style.
Yeah.
Yeah. All concerned with vengeance as the primary plot driver.
Right.
And all three are masterpieces for me. Incredible films. And even knowing that I think they're masterpieces and it's my favourite trilogy, it always surprises me just how good they are when I rewatch them. I finished watching this film and I was just like, God damn it, it's so fucking good. Everything about it, the crazy avid editing in it, like a door being the full frame of the screen and opening, and then there's a completely new scene behind the door, sort of folding into the new scene, just little
Right.
slightly unnecessarily flashy but cool touches like that, because this is based on a comic book very, very loosely.
A Japanese comic book, no less.
Oh, is it? I wasn't aware of that.
I think so,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, apparently it is very, very different beyond the initial premise of the imprisonment. So I guess that's where the editing flourishes come from, to kind of pay homage to the comic book origins. Yeah, like I think it was Craig was saying, the humour in the film is very, very dark.
Yeah.
Dae-su, his refrain from a painting in his imprisoned room is laugh and the whole world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone. So there's several times in the film where he goes to weep, but then he forces a big rictus grin, and it's very darkly comical as he usually stares directly into camera with this ghastly grin on his face. I can't speak highly enough of this film. It's so good. It's so good, and honestly, anybody who hasn't seen Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance, watch them if you enjoyed this film. They're both brilliant too. Let's move on to our favourite moments/scenes, and I think we're due to start with Craig.
Yeah, that's a difficult one because there's so many, but what I'll highlight is very early on, after the opening that I spoke about earlier, when it cuts to show you who he was before, and the performance and the mannerisms and the look and everything is so starkly in contrast. He's such a loser that he was before. Not that he's not a loser now, but obviously he's lean and he kind of looks cool and everything. But it's such an incredible dual performance, these two versions of Dae-su that he plays. So I think that for me, the switch, the first point when you get to what I guess you would call a flashback, so well pulled off. But if I could just have a moment, it's not a scene or anything, it would be the death by compact disc. Because it's so fucking fucked up.
Yeah. Just going back to that flashback sequence, I just love that in the police station when Dae-su is sort of in there for drunken disorderly, he shows the coppers what he's bought for his daughter, and it's those angel wings, and he's doing like a weird chicken dance with them.
Yeah.
And then after the final reveal that they've been maneuvered into a sexual relationship with each other, the first image that you see is Mido doing that same weird chicken dance, and it provokes a laugh in amongst this horrible twist. It's that strange dark humor being used again to brilliant effect. Right, Adam, what do you have?
I think Craig mentioned it earlier about the corridor fight. Really, isn't it? It's just a really. I think it's just one shot, isn't it? The whole thing, pretty much. So that's pretty phenomenal, really. And there's like a computer game type thing, isn't it? Sometimes you see on the computer games it's dark, and then you've got the shot in the middle, haven't you?
Yeah.
The comic would have been panelled very much like that, you imagine.
Yeah. The thing that I really like about that corridor fight is how sloppy it is. There's people missing punches and falling over, and they go back. They sort of work from left to right, and then they come back from right to left, and people regroup. And there's a genuine chaotic feel to it. It doesn't feel very choreographed, even though I imagine it must have been.
Yeah, I wonder how many takes they did.
Because it felt seamless, didn't it?
Yeah, because I think they might have done it start and, well, don't go this mad straight away, and then you couple of guys with sticks, you do this. Feels like it's like a really sort of natural scene, but they must have really rehearsed it quite a bit, I think. It's great, though. It's really great.
I think Director Park is an incredibly precise filmmaker, so I would imagine it was worked out within an inch of its life before starting with the mistakes and everything. But I don't know for certain. There is a making of on the Blu-ray that I have, but it's 3 hours long, and I couldn't quite work up the willpower to squeeze that in, to be honest. But I'm sure that may be enlightening if I ever do get around to that mammoth undertaking of an extra. Okay, let's hear from Ben.
Well, obviously the corridor is like the standout set piece. I also loved, as you mentioned, the scene in the beginning where he's in the PlayStation. I think the jump cuts work really well. You get the sense of how drunk he is because it's that kind of, almost like blinking in and out of consciousness. So I thought that was really great, and I love the different things. He's angry, he's going through all these different emotions. It just really shows you how drunk he is. I thought it was great. But probably the highlight I wasn't expecting and made me laugh the most was the giant ant on the train.
Yeah.
It's just this like moment of kind of sereneness.
Yeah.
A lonely human and a lonely giant ant weeping together on a train.
Yeah.
Or weeping apart on a train, I should say. Yeah, that is great. For me, I'm going to take the entire reveal sequence. It's quite a long sequence, I know, but I just think it's masterfully done.
Yeah.
It's a hard watch, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm talking like right from when Dae-su arrives at the building and he's trying to work out the code to get up to the penthouse, and then Mr. Han and Lee Woo-jin arrive and he just puts the passcode in and takes him up, and you're just like, something's terribly amiss here straight away. And yeah, it's just, it builds and it builds until the reveal of the purple gift box with the photo album of Mido growing up. It's really, there's only two ways to describe it, as I've already said. It's literally jaw-dropping and just closing your eyes and looking up. Just, oh my God.
Yeah.
You couldn't imagine anything worse, could you? It's incredible. And then, of course, Dae-su becoming penitent, begging, Woo-jin licking his feet, cutting his own tongue out.
Yeah.
His own wicked tongue that caused all this by starting rumours about Woo-jin's sister that led to her death. It's just absolutely a bravura 20, 30 minutes of filmmaking. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Should we move on to favourite lines, perhaps? Who's up first? I think I've lost track. Is it Ben up first now?
I don't think Adam's been first yet.
Okay, let's have Adam.
10 years of imaginary training. Is it any use in real life? It is.
Is that with the street hooligans that he takes the cigarette from at the start?
Yeah.
But then it's called back shortly later, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, that scene and that line and stuff, it's like, oh, he's come out of prison stronger, and it's like a bit of a, oh yeah, go, he's our hero, and it's like still sitting right in that horrible mud puddle of like feeling something bad's gonna happen.
Right in the yuck puddle.
Don't count your chickens.
Okay, we'll move on to Ben's favourite line.
My favourite line was an example of the dark humour, and that is where he gets 3 chopsticks in the hotel room. He said, all I could think about is the guy in the next room eating with 1 chopstick.
Yeah, and obviously you think that it's going to be his Andy Dufresne rock hammer of escape, and could have been, I guess. But
it was close. He gets the fresh air, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear Craig's favourite.
Well, like we've all kind of alluded to, there are a lot of lines in this that they're repeated, but they change through context, through repetition, and it's the context that gives them meaning. And so there's a whole speech that he practices to himself that he's going to give to his tormentor, to his captor, if he ever catches up with him. I'm going to rip you limb from limb, and your remains will never be found. Why? Because I'm going to swallow every last bit. And when he finally gets to deliver that, obviously it's so hollow, his words, and he realizes very quickly that he has no power over this guy. So the context lends those words a kind of grim humour and also a real kind of tragedy. Really clever the way they foreshadow that.
He's almost on autopilot, isn't it? He's kind of screaming this speech at him whilst knowing that he's utterly defeated.
Clutching at straws, I guess.
Yeah, he has to do anything that he can so that Mido doesn't find out exactly what's happened.
Yeah, he's kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall at that point, isn't he? He's like, something that I say here must work. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons. I know, obviously, the symbolic that he spread the rumour, but his tongue kind of fails him. Everything he says, his impotent rage has no power in his words, so his tongue kind of does become useless to him at that point. Heavy symbolism.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'll go for another funny one. It's actually just before Adam's line that he picked when Dae-su takes the cigarette from the street toughs, and one of them says something like, "Hey, dick shit, give it back," and just his internal monologue's just like, "Dick shit." That's interesting. He's never heard the phrase dick shit before, and he's like, "Oh." And then he uses it later on Mr. Park, who runs the prison complex, calls him dick shit.
Yeah, the early noughties was breeding ground for portmanteau swear words, wasn't it?
In Oldboy, Lee Woo-jin imprisons Dae-su for 15 years in revenge for starting a rumour when they were teenagers that Woo-jin and his sister Soo-ah were having an incestuous affair. Which is pretty much true in all fairness, but still, dick move. Having Dae-su framed for his own wife's murder whilst incarcerated before releasing him after 15 years of isolation, Woo-jin has Dae-su hypnotised in order to lead him down the path of falling in love with lonely chef Mido, who naturally consummate their relationship via some vigorous lovemaking. Only when Dae-su has uncovered the reason for Woo-jin's grudge does our bad guy of the week reveal his true vengeance. Mido is actually Dae-su's daughter, whom he has secretly raised and hypnotised to fall in love with Dae-su in a truly shocking twist. Upon hearing this, Dae-su begs for Mido to not be told before cutting out his own spiteful tongue in an act of repentance/sacrifice. His life's work complete, Lee Woo-jin shoots himself in the head. Job done. But what did the panel think of the evil scheme? And we're beginning with Ben.
Well, it's another of those rarities, isn't it? Where the bad guy wins. And it's meticulous. I mean, it was many years in the planning. There was a lot of funds poured into it. Everything went pretty much the way he wanted it to. I don't think he's quite John Doe, but he's not far off. So he's getting 15 florets of wriggly broccoli.
Craig, what did you think of Lee Woo-jin's scheme?
Yeah, I think if you take it as given that within this world, hypnosis is effective, 100% effective, you know, the verisimilitude the verisimilitude of the world of Oldboy, if that's true. And if your aim is to utterly destroy somebody's life as an act of vengeance, then I think it's flawless, because he completely and utterly destroys him to the point where he has to wipe his own memory to have any kind of peace.
But even that, you're not sure. With that grimace at the end, you're not sure. Because she says your memories could be muddled.
Yeah, but that only further strengthens the fact that his vengeance was perfect.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think it's probably the most diabolical plan. I knew it was going to come up at some point. It was on my shortlist, but I was wary of it because of how dark it is. The only note that I would have against it personally, but this doesn't go against it in terms of the theme of the podcast, is that I think it's a bit over the top. I think it's too much.
Oh, come on, mate. It's a bit harsh.
He's had enough.
I mean, as you said, the rumour was essentially true, and he only said a little bit of it. It kind of spread
to one person.
To one person, yeah. So
bit
really,
harsh.
this vengeance feels disproportionate.
Okay, Adam, what are your thoughts?
I think he deserves to be on par with John Doe because they're both extremely sort of self-indulgent with their quests for the ultimate justice sort of thing or whatever they see. Lee Woo-jin has to stitch it together over 15 years and he has to have a hell of a lot of discipline, and he probably can't predict what Dae-su is going to do towards the end, and getting the tongue is an extra brownie point, I think, for him. So, yeah, I think he's done a marvellous job.
Top notch.
I'll give it 10 on 10.
On balance, I think I'm more with Turner, with Adam, than the other two fellows. I think it's perfect. If you're a bad guy, I don't think in terms of getting to one person, waging a vendetta against one person, it doesn't get any better than this. It's like Ben said, meticulously planned. Every question that you've got while you're watching the film is answered as you go. Like, well, that's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? Why did he run into Mido? Hypnotized so that he'd go there based on what? Based on the mobile phone being handed to him as he's looking in an aquarium. All right. And then the one that I'd forgotten about after he eats the live squid and he just collapses is because of the ringtone on the mobile as well. It's just like,
Isn't it because
Christ,
she touched him? She touched his
that's
hand.
it. Yeah,
That was really impressive.
Is the trigger for him to say a phrase, which triggers her to touch his hand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
The reveals about how everything has been planned are just so good.
Stunning.
He's my top villain so far on the podcast. I think it's going to take quite a lot to top his scheme for me as we go forward.
So you're going to say he's my hero?
I bloody love him. Hopefully one day I can do the same and then shoot myself in the head in an elevator.
Steady on.
Before we ramble on any further, we'd like to thank you for listening to our show so far. Cheers! So do remember, if you like what you hear each week, please subscribe, leave us a written review, and follow us on Apple Podcasts if you're able. It is the best platform to help us grow the podcast, and the Peril Pals, that's you, are an important part in that process. We actually haven't had a review for quite a while now, and we always get many new listeners when we do get a review, so please do take the time to write a few words. If you aren't on Apple, rate us on your provider of choice and follow us on socials at DiabolicalPod, and visit our website at www.diabolicalpod.com. Now we have arrived at the part of the show where the panel of Peril compete for precious Peril points on the Perilous leaderboard. Each member gets 1 vote, which will equal 1 point on the board. But do remember, you cannot vote for yourself, you saucy babies. Our task this week is to imprison Dae-su in a location of our choice for 15 years before releasing him in order to exact our revenge, also of our choosing, for the death of our beloved sister. So, let's do this! And we're going to begin this time with Craig.
I watch Dae-su as he wakes up in his prison, a beautiful tropical paradise of white sands and endless shores. The island is small. He could walk around the entire coast in a day. And free to do so, he does. There are no bars in this prison, and no jailers. Dae-su is alone, save for the eyes that watch him constantly. To clarify, I mean my eyes, and by eyes I mean cameras. I'm not there, but you'll recall I love cameras, so I've set some up to keep tabs on him. Oh, I've studied Dae-su closely for years. I know his loves, his hates, his secret desires, his favourite foods and drinks, his favourite song. I serve him lunch, his favourite dish of bibimbap, kimchi and fried chicken, a side of caviar and all the champagne he can drink, shaved ice and sweet rice cakes for dessert, What is this, a desert island? He says aloud, and by him I mean me. He can scarcely believe his luck. His favourite song, Buddy Holly by Weezer, plays in the background. Bliss! Supper time comes and brings more of the same. Truly, this is paradise. He drifts off to sleep to the comforting sound of Rivers Cuomo vocals and poppy guitars. Breakfast now, his favourite meal again. What has he done to deserve this? Lunch brings more of the same. He quite fancies some noodles, but hey, mustn't grumble. By the end of the week, he's sick of the sight of bibimbap. Physically retching at the thought of more champagne. Going mad from hearing Buddy Holly over and over again. But this is his paradise for the next 15 years. At the end of it, I reveal myself to him. I explain how I was so successful with my photography career that I could buy this private island, all this food, and the rights to Buddy Holly by Weezer. But why, he pleads, why have you done this to me? Because, as they say, the best revenge is success.
Why does he need to buy the rights to Buddy Holly?
He didn't need to. He just wanted to show off.
Okay.
Just can't.
So successful.
I was wondering who was going to do the Homer in hell eating donuts plan, and you
That did cross my
Oh,
mind.
the donut in the world.
more. So, death by pleasure.
Also, what's bibimbap?
Isn't
It's
it-
pronounced bibimba.
Is it?
Oh, I was going to say, isn't it like umbop?
No, it's like a rice dish with different pickles and meat and things.
Fried egg, maybe.
There's an egg, often an egg in it, and you can have it in a stone bowl. So they superheat the stone bowl, and so
Oh, yeah.
it's always cooking when they serve it.
I like the sound of this island.
It's very good.
Mm.
I thought you were going for a Sims thing at first.
What, building a swimming pool and then take the ladder away?
Yeah, they're going to torture him on the island, just doing things like that.
Yeah, the torture is...
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon I'd be all right.
You really?
And I've been listening to Buddy Holly for about 30 years, and I still like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have
Every
to listen
day,
to it all day,
over
every
and
day.
over and over.
For 15 years.
Don't I? No, I don't.
Mm.
I wonder if he's going to learn that lesson after 15 years.
Probably not.
He's going to go, all right, okay, right, I'll just go and live my life. Well done on your success.
Success is the best revenge, you see. So,
Is that a saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it not like
no, it
the
is.
best revenge is a life well lived?
No, success is
Yes.
another one. I mean,
Mhm.
there are obviously
Yeah,
more
but-
than one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said to my boss in work the other day, I was talking about leaving an assignment till the last minute. And she was like, "You've been saying you're going to do it all week." And I'm like, no, but pressure makes diamonds, doesn't it? And she was like, what? And I went, pressure makes diamonds. Have you never heard that? She was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, fair enough. But then
Okay.
about 2 minutes later, I said something, again, talking about the assignment. I was like, well, I've done like the lion's share of it. I've only got about 800 words more to do. And she went, lion's share? And I was like, are you serious? You haven't heard the phrase lion's share? And she was like, I've never heard that in my life. And I was
How
like,
old is she? Is she like
All right.
16 or something?
Yeah, how old is your manager 4?
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty neat plan.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not bombshell. Let's hear.
But he has got lots of other things he could do on the island, doesn't he? Swimming, pissing against trees. That'll take your mind off things.
Yeah, it would.
Scratching your back on trees like Baloo the bear. Ooh.
He can piss in the room that he's in the film, but it doesn't alleviate his suffering, does it?
Yeah, but that's because it's the same every time. But pissing, you've got loads of choice on an island. Behind a tree, in front of a tree.
He's still got to
Side
eat
of
the
a
same
tree.
stuff every meal and hear that song all day, every day. Those are the key points.
Okay.
The things that he loved as well. And that's what's really fucking his brain about this. It's not just the fact that it's the same every time. It's that these were his absolute favourites. And now he's going to hate them forever.
Right.
His life
That
after this is fucked.
is ruined, isn't it? Even if
Yeah.
he does find a nice beehive to make love to.
Exactly. Or a coconut.
Ooh.
Coconut's a bit hairy, isn't it? So
Ooh.
And it has holes in it already
Ooh.
that are the perfect size.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Tiny little holes.
Ooh.
I'd say we're ready to move on and hear Adam's evil scheme.
Dae-su has the luxury of watching whatever he wanted on that little TV. But what if he had to watch something he didn't like? Years too early for Geordie Shore or Time Team to turn his stomach or bore him to death. The go-to show, in my opinion, would be Are You Being Served? With its stereotyping, politically incorrect humour and double entendres, the woke mob wouldn't stand for it these days. So in his little prison cell, inside a little shipping container stashed in a big garage somewhere, he'd be forced to watch Are You Being Served? Smashing the TV wouldn't work because each day when he woke up, it had been replaced. Instead of dumplings, he'd have slightly soggy, lukewarm chips, the worst food known to man, along with some equally repugnant main dish. After 15 years, stark raving bonkers, and now a Are You Being Served superfan, I let him go. You are free now, Dae-su, says the prison guard. I'm free, says Dae-su in a uniquely out-of-date camp fashion. Partially malnourished, he walks in an effeminate fashion from the cell. He is given some outlandish 80s-style clothes and some vouchers for a department store in town, and I tell him to update his wardrobe. Wandering in said department store, he wanders up to a counter and dings the bell. Mrs. Slocum, how's your pussy? Says Dae-su. I haven't seen your pussy for years, and last time it was kicking up a right pong. Staff look bemused. However, right at that moment, just across the way, I have made arrangements for television actor John Inman, aka Mr. Humphreys, to cut a ribbon on a new perfume counter in the store. Dae-su is all misty-eyed at being in the presence of his screen idol. Inman pretends to be on a tight schedule and ignores Dae-su's attempts for an autograph. Incensed by being snubbed by his hero, he grabs the scissors Inman used to cut the ribbon and buries them in Inman's crotch area, chopping off his penis and cutting open an artery. You are being severed, cries Dae-su. As a bloodied Dae-su stands crying at the realization he's killed the only man he ever loved, I'm satisfied he's totally devastated. Just before he's gunned down the first responder cop, I hypnotize to kill him. 3, 2, 1, you're back in the room. Nearby, I neck on with his daughter near some stainless steel cookware. I've angled it just right so I can see myself necking on with her in its metallic reflection. I'm a naughty boy. Yeah, it's his daughter, all right. The daughter who I adopted but then married in a Dear Deirdre-style conundrum. I'm totally cool with it, though. Don't buy the son.
I'm going to call this the Woody Allen plan.
Yeah. I was thinking of him, but it's his stepdaughter.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
I thought John Inman might have already been dead, but he died in 2007, so you covered
Yes,
your bases
I
there.
checked that as well. Don't you dare. Don't you even dare.
A plan as meticulous as the plot of Oldboy itself.
He's moving 2, 3, 4 moves ahead.
I have got one thread.
I get one question for you.
One thread to pull on that might unravel the whole thing.
Go on then.
When at the beginning of this episode you were asked to name the ickiest thing you've ever eaten, what did you say it was?
Rustler's burger or snails?
Not soggy chips. I rest my case.
He's nailed you to the wall.
I can neither confirm nor deny I've eaten soggy chips. Good night.
Thing is, I don't mind a soggy chip. I
like
prefer
it.
a crispy chip. But like when you get a bag of chips from the chippy and it's been like steaming itself on the way home, and then you get like the sloppy chips at the
But-
end, and they're all vinegary.
As long as they're vinegary, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Thing is with soggy chips, though, you don't know if somebody's been like put some soggy chips in their mouth. It's just as somebody told a punchline to a joke and then go and spat them back into a tray, and then you go, "Ooh, soggy chips." Mm.
No, because they wouldn't be salty then, or vinegary.
They might be because they might not have had the time to cover them in their own particular.
Oh,
too
in
much
which case
saliva.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I mean, I could meet that person, that chippy person, and neck on with them, couldn't I? So no worries if they've had my chip in their mouth for a few seconds. I'm fine with that.
What's your chip mouth cut-off point?
I'd say 3 seconds.
I'd say chip mouth sauteing.
Don't think I have any comments or questions. TBH.
My only question, I guess, is obviously Dae-su doesn't speak English.
But he learns it like
He learns it
'cause from
But it's
Are You Being Served?
but it's very, very niche language, that, isn't it? It's not like
Yeah,
there's
well,
loads of
that's
double
how,
entendres. Will he get it?
yeah, that's how Cassandra from Wayne's World learned English from the Police Academy movies. So
Yeah. It doesn't matter if he gets it. If he walks into the department store and asks about Mrs. Slocum's pussy, he might be doing so earnestly from his
Fair
point
enough.
of view.
Yeah, okay.
because he's gone stark raving bonkers as well.
Kicking up a right pong.
At the end, shall we sing the theme tune from Are You Being Served?
Couldn't
You
tell
know,
you
the
what
one
it
that's
is.
like,
There
first
is.
floor, haberdasher's Tupperware and
Oh
thing
God, I
is
don't
going
remember
up.
that.
And
I
it's
said
like,
we might as well face the truth. That we are just too long in the tooth. That's that, isn't it?
that's one foot in the grave, you fool.
Oh. I don't believe it.
Oh.
How rude.
Well,
Second floor, lingerie, knitwear, and dildos going up. Do, 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 do. It's a really good song. I suggest you listen to it.
number one record.
On an island for 15 years.
Well, let's move along and hear Ben's plan.
In a dimly lit hotel room, the minutes stretch into hours, days melt into years, and one man's sanity teeters on the brink of reality and madness. Dae-su finds himself confined within four walls that are both his prison and his universe. There is no TV for company, only a roll of sellotape and a note saying, "Find the end and you will be free." Every night as Dae-su succumbs to a restless sleep, a shadowy figure enters the room. With delicate precision, they trim Dae-su's fingernails, ensuring that his attempts to find the tape's elusive end remain futile. Dae-su dedicates hours to the task, his fingers skimming the smooth surface of the tape, seeking a flaw, a tear, anything that might signify a starting point. Days turn into weeks, then months, then years, the roll becoming a never-ending cycle of hope and despair. Then, as abruptly as it began, Dae-su's captivity ends. He finds himself thrust back into the world, a world that has moved on without him. As he attempts to navigate the now foreign streets, his eyesight greatly deteriorated after so many years focused on that infernal tape, a figure, a blur in the distance, waves at him. Starved of human connection, Dae-su is compelled to wave back, only to realise a moment too late that the wave was meant for someone standing just behind him. He tries to style it out into a just stretching pose, but it's too late. Loads of people have seen him and begin to mutter "Burke" under their breath. Sadly, that wouldn't be the last time Dae-su would face such crippling social anguish. It wouldn't even be the last time that day. For unbeknownst to our hero, Woo-jin has used his fortune to hire people to cross Dae-su's path and wave at someone just behind him for the rest of his life.
I'm getting out of that prison within the first day. I'll simply use my teeth to find the edge of the tape.
Very good. But what I didn't mention is that it's a joke tape roll. I anticipate that question, but Woo-jin has used his fortune to create a very realistic looking tape roll with no end.
Okay.
Wouldn't you just like cut into it the roll with a bit of a knife and just like peel it off?
Oh, the bit of that knife that he has.
Or bite into it with your teeth. And then realise that it's not tape.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, this is a dog toy.
Yeah, I'd go like this. If I had a piece of joke sellotape, I'd be like going like this with in front of my teeth like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's plastic. And they just replace the roll every night if it starts to get damaged.
Eventually, he's going to get a third chopstick and sharpen it. Could cut into the tape of that.
Not going to feed him
You're not going to feed him.
with chopsticks.
All right.
You just got to have mush in a bowl. Paper bowl.
I would stuff him down the toilet and flush it until it flooded my room.
He hasn't got a toilet. He's got a knob
Yes.
tube and a poo hole.
Not tube.
Yeah, Woo-jin's also used his fortune to create something called what he calls a poover. It's just like a little suction cup that sucks out your poo.
That sounds great.
It's called a poover.
They got vacuum. That's what they have on board aircraft. They've got a vacuum toilet on board, but it's got a little bit of water on it. But you shut the lid and push a button, it makes a big racket, and your poo disappears.
This has to be like a pilot's mask, and it
Exactly. That's what.
fits
That's what
over your anus,
Yeah.
and it sucks the poop directly out of your anus.
It's like a gentle
Even
wind
when you don't need
coaxing
to poo.
coaxing out the brown log.
Haiku.
Anything else for Adam?
I don't think so.
I
Me?
didn't finish ages ago. It was me.
I think, yeah.
Anything else for
Yeah.
Ben even?
Thanks, the best. Feel so emasculated right now. I'm gonna pull up my knickers and leave.
And maybe a cup of tea.
Get on.
I guess we know who the best are going to vote for. He's let us in behind the curtain, hasn't he?
Oh no. I'm gonna bring us home. Slightly regretting this plan now, but too late to change it now.
Oh, how dark is it?
Oh no, it's not dark. It's not dark.
Good.
You three guys will be regretting it too. A couple of minutes into it, trust me.
You're not going to do it in a Korean accent, are you?
That would be ill-advised.
So my place of imprisonment is a Wetherspoons pub, and he served a cold beef and ale pie every day for his food. That's the first step of his 15 years of torture. Second step,
Can you have any drink?
drink is tap water.
Tap water. Oh.
Not good tap water, like the kind of tap water that they gave us in Eskil-Hengalwin. Like not quite right tap water.
It's got
Yeah.
bits of stuff flying in it, and it's lukewarm.
In a plastic cup.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I.
The second stage is slightly more elaborate, and slightly annoyingly, Craig had something quite similar, but unusually for a Wetherspoons type place. But this is Korea. It's not Wetherspoons. It's a Wetherspoons type thing. There is music playing over loudspeakers. Bar with the bar, the bang, the dang, diggy, 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 set the boogie, sit up, drop the boogie. Bar with the bar, the bang, the dang, diggy, 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 set the boogie, sit up, drop the boogie. And this is for the questions that don't have any answers. The midnight glances and the topless dances. The cans of freaks, cars packed with speakers. The G's with the 40s and the chicks with beepers. The northern lights and the southern comfort. And it doesn't even matter if your veins are punctured or the crackheads, the critics, the cynics. And all my heroes at the methadone clinics. Bar with the bar, the bang, a dang, diggy, 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 set the boogie, sit up, drop the boogie. Bar with the bar, the bang, a dang, diggy, 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 set the boogie, sit up, drop the boogie. For the time bombs ticking and the heads to hang, and the guys getting money and the heads to bang bang. Wild Mustangs, the porno flicks, all my homies in the canyon, so block 6. Yeah. The grits when there ain't enough eggs to cook.
This is the
and
bit
the
that we say was going to be
DDP
annoying.
and the money
It's so
it
right.
took. You can look for answers, but that ain't fun. Like get in the pit and try to love someone. Bar with the bar, the bang, a dang, diggy, 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 set the boogie, sit up, drop the boogie. Bar with the bar, the bang, a dang, diggy, 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 set the
Can we
boogie,
get done
sit
on
up,
copyright
drop
here?
the boogie. Bar with the bar, the
No,
bang, a
it's
dang,
fair
diggy,
use, isn't
diggy,
it? It's
diggy, set the
performance.
boogie, sit up, drop the boogie.
This
Bar
isn't
with the
fair.
bar, the bang, a dang, diggy,
Not on
diggy,
us.
diggy, set the boogie, drop the boogie. Love! And for the hate! And for the peace! Whoa! Bar with the bar, the bang a dang diggy diggy diggy, set the boogie, sit up, drop the boogie. Bar with the bar, the bang a dang diggy diggy diggy, set the boogie, sit up, drop the boogie. Bar with the bar, the bang a dang diggy diggy diggy, set the boogie, sit up, drop the boogie. Bar with the bar, the bang a dang diggy diggy diggy, set the boogie, sit up, drop the boogie. And that's it for 15 years.
Jesus
Listening
Christ.
to that masterpiece of a song over
Kid
and over
Rock.
and over again. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't think that I could improve on Woo-jin's plan, so I've just settled for madness. He just drives him mad with horrible,
Weatherspoon's pie,
tepid
water, and Kid Rock.
gummy pie, tap water, and Kid Rock.
I think Kid Rock so innocuous that I wouldn't even notice it playing in the background for 15 years.
But if Gaz was singing it. Oh, sorry. The best. You are one of the brains of your generation.
Evidently.
How about, this is my main rebuttal to what you just said. What's with these homies dissing my girl? Why did they get out front? What did we ever do to these guys to make them so violent? Now, isn't that more annoying?
That's so good. Oh, I love it.
I don't think it is.
Oh, I mean, I like it a lot, but after a couple of days,
I'd be picturing the Fonz in my head and just having a great time.
I'm confident that I picked the more annoying track of the two.
Yeah. Oh, it was awful.
I was really enjoying it.
I've never heard it before, and I hate it.
There we have it. I don't think there's any more questions, judging by the looks away averting my gaze.
Is Kid Rock allowed to have his music played in pubs since he disowned Coors Light over trans issues?
Yeah.
Oh, this was 2003 though, so
Yeah. He was cool.
At the height of Kid Rock's powers.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else in the Weatherspoons, or is it just a solo prison Weatherspoons?
It's just a solo prison Weatherspoons.
That'd be quite nice.
For a bit, maybe.
You got the busts of Mark Antony and Caesar or whatever.
I think that might be specific to that one Weatherspoon. I don't think he'll have that.
Oh, don't they? I thought that was a part of the decor.
But they've all got a sticky floor.
Yeah.
Toilets with piss cakes everywhere, and it still stinks of piss.
Gammon manager.
I think the piss cakes in Weatherspoons are piss odor piss cakes.
And what else have they got? A dumb waiter. That's fun for a bit. The dumb waiter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd be jumping out of that saying, "Did someone say wonder?"
Those plans, if I'm not mistaken, were slightly less diabolical than the film's actual plan, weren't they? We had Craig's Success is the Best Revenge style plan, Adam's John Inman Dick Chop plan, Ben's...
You could have just said, "Are you being served?" plan.
I could have.
It was a deliberate choice.
Ben's Wrong Man Wave plan and my Weatherspoons Kid Rock plan. But there can be only many people who get points on the board. And so with that, let's see who Adam voted for.
Well, I voted for the plan that would work on me, which is driving me mad with the things I love. So I voted for Craig.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, then let's see who Craig voted for.
Well, as much as I enjoyed and appreciated Adam's John Inman Dick Chop plan, I voted for it. It's the best one. Adam.
Let's hear who Ben voted for.
Yeah, I did enjoy the John Inman plan, I must say. So I voted for it too.
Oh, you perish.
Oh, you mean,
perish
sir?
I'm free, I think, was the
It was amazing.
icing on the cake.
I also very much enjoyed Adam's John Inman style plan, but unfortunately, I also voted for Adam. He's got a clean sweep.
You almost got me then.
Well
you
done.
almost got me. Ooh.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Have you only written that today as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
pressure makes diamonds, as the
I-
old saying
yeah,
is.
What?
I had.
What does that mean?
Adam got the lion's share of the votes, didn't he?
Well then, we've got a bit of a change on the old leaderboard this week.
Oh.
In joint first place with 14 points each are Craig and Ben. Sitting just behind them with 13 points is Adam.
Whoa. Oh, he's raced up the board there.
Yes, yeah. That
Coming
sounds
for you.
like really did the job.
He's only got a plan like that in his pocket once in a blue moon. I'm not feeling too pressured.
And bringing up the rear with 11 points is the best.
Yeah.
Reigning champion. Back where he belongs.
Yeah.
I've got such a funny new champion name. If I ever win again, I'm really happy with it.
Oh, God, it's going to be horrible then. It's going to be absolutely horrible.
That will do us for another batch of evil schemes. But we shall return next Monday for another dose of podcasting and pontification with Craig's choice of film. If you would be so ready good to reveal it, please.
Well, it's been a long time coming, but next week's film is Francis Ford Coppola's Gary Oldman's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Monto Sacchio Con. That's the one, isn't it?
Exactly.
Join us next week as we discuss Dracula's evil scheme. Until then, remember, everything will be alright in the end, and if it isn't alright, then it isn't the end.
So we could do the closing theme to Phil's and Horses.
Can't remember.
Closing team, what is that?
Closing theme.
We got some off-price.
That's the opening.
That's the opening.
From Mookin Shepherd's Bush. No,
It's all
the
the same
opening.
song.
Oh, sorry, no,
Yeah.
stick a pony in my pocket.
In my pocket,
Yeah.
I fetched a suitcase from the van. If you want the bestest, but you don't ask questions, and brother, I'm your man. And where it'll come from.
Yeah,
is a
it's the same
mystery.
song, I think.
It's like the changing of the seasons.
We've
and
got
the
some
tides of the
off-price
sea.
crack pipes. And my wife's sitting on her.
The closing credits is God bless Hooky Street, and the opening credits is Why do only fools and
And
horses
horses
work?
work a la la la. Wasn't that written by John Sullivan? Weren't they both written by John
sung,
Sullivan?
Yeah.
and sung by
yeah.
John Sullivan, yeah. But they are different.
Take my land, take my ride, put me in a hotel room. You can take the skies from me. Take my daughter for a cup of tea. And then banger.
Hooky Street. Anyway, yeah, fuck it.
There you go.
Good.
Well done.